As the first light of morning filters through a misty valley, a line of soldiers holds its position along a makeshift defensive ridge. Their vehicles bear the marks of combat. A radio operator relays target coordinates to an unseen aircraft circling somewhere beyond the horizon. Enemy armor moves along a distant tree line, visible through optics, but beyond the reach of the troops below. Then a gray silhouette emerges from the east, wide-winged and deliberate, its engines perched high on the fuselage. It banks into a steady orbit. The ground controller and pilot exchange confirmations. Moments later, the armored threat is neutralized. The aircraft stays overhead, watchful. The soldiers exhale. They are not alone. That quiet reassurance is precisely what the A-10 Thunderbolt II was engineered to provide. Not flash or speed, but staying power, resilience, and the ability to deliver firepower exactly where ground troops need it. The aircraft's origins trace back to Cold War anxieties. During the 1960s, American military planners grew increasingly concerned about the possibility of large armored engagements in Central Europe. Soviet tank formations were massed along the Iron Curtain, and NATO strategists recognized that conventional fast jets, though technically capable, were poorly suited for low-altitude tank hunting in a heavily defended environment. What was needed was a purpose-built aircraft that could linger over a battlefield, absorb punishment, operate from austere forward strips, and be kept running by small maintenance crews under field conditions. The Air Force formalized these requirements in 1966 through a program known as the AX competition. Fairchild Republic secured the contract, and the resulting machine was named in tribute to the legendary P-47 Thunderbolt of World War II. Every aspect of its design served the mission rather than abstract performance metrics. Central to the entire aircraft is the GAU-8/A Avenger, a 30mm 7-barrel rotary cannon capable of punching through the top armor of tanks. The gun is so dominant a design element that the nose landing gear sits off-center to make room for it. Beyond the cannon, the aircraft carries an extensive range of weapons: unguided rockets, laser-guided bombs, GPS-directed munitions, air-to-surface missiles, giving it flexibility across a broad spectrum of targets. Survivability was engineered into every corner of the airframe. The pilot sits inside a protective shell of titanium armor, rated to withstand heavy-caliber ground fire. Hydraulic systems are duplicated, and the aircraft can revert to mechanical backup controls if both are lost. Fuel tanks are foam-filled and self-sealing. The widely spaced, high-mounted engines reduce the aircraft's heat signature when viewed from below and limit the damage any single hit can cause. Broad, straight wings give the aircraft exceptional low-speed handling and allow it to use short, unprepared runways, keeping it close to the troops it supports. When the A-10 reached operational units in the mid-1970s, its crews trained exhaustively for the anti-armor mission in Europe. It was never the most glamorous machine in the inventory, but it addressed a gap that faster, more sophisticated jets could not fill with the same focus. Its battlefield debut came during Operation Desert Storm in 1991, where it flew an enormous volume of sorties against Iraqi armored formations. The aircraft destroyed tanks and artillery at a remarkable rate, while also performing search and rescue escort and forward air control missions. Pilots returned to base with serious structural damage, proof that the survivability features built into the design were not theoretical. Ground forces took notice. Unlike high-performance jets that swept through at speed and departed, the A-10 could remain on station, orbit, and re-engage. That persistence reduced the risk of misidentification and gave soldiers a sense of continuous, reliable overhead presence. Subsequent deployments across the Balkans, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria each added new chapters to the aircraft's operational history. In Afghanistan's mountainous terrain, its loiter time proved especially valuable against dispersed insurgent forces. In Iraq, it worked closely with Joint Terminal Attack Controllers on the ground, using improved targeting pods to distinguish enemy positions in complex urban and rural settings. The aircraft also evolved technically. A precision engagement upgrade introduced modern avionics, digital systems management, and compatibility with GPS-guided munitions. Enhanced targeting pods gave pilots sharper infrared and electro-optical imagery. Structural modernization addressed wing fatigue that had accumulated over decades of hard use, with new wing sets extending the airframe's viable service life well into the future. Cockpit displays were refreshed, and secure data links were added, allowing the aircraft to exchange targeting information with other platforms in real time. The airframe was aging, but its capabilities kept pace with the demands placed on it. Despite all of this, the A-10 has spent much of its recent history under threat of retirement. The central argument from Air Force leadership has been that against a sophisticated adversary operating advanced integrated air defenses, a slow, non-stealthy aircraft would face unacceptable risk. Modern surface-to-air missile systems can engage targets at long ranges with radar-guided precision. In that environment, stealth and speed are genuine operational requirements, not preferences. Multi-role platforms such as the F-16, the F-15E, and especially the F-35 are designed to operate across a full range of missions: air superiority, strike, and ground support, while surviving in contested airspace. Maintaining a single-role aircraft, the argument goes, consumes resources that could fund more versatile systems. Analysts are genuinely divided on this question. Those who support retirement acknowledge that suppressing enemy air defenses before A-10 operations would add complexity and cost to any high-end conflict. They favor investment in platforms that can contribute across the full arc of a modern campaign. Those who oppose retirement point out that close air support remains a constant operational requirement, and that no other aircraft in the current inventory replicates the A-10's specific combination of loiter endurance, structural toughness, and purpose-built firepower. Veteran A-10 pilots often frame the issue in human terms. The aircraft's ability to orbit visibly overhead has a calming effect on ground forces that fast movers simply cannot replicate. Cost has also featured heavily in the debate. The A-10 is relatively inexpensive to fly compared to stealth platforms, and in permissive environments against non-state threats, its cost-effectiveness is difficult to challenge. Opponents respond that military investment must be shaped by the most demanding plausible conflict, not the most recent one. Congress has consistently pushed back against retirement proposals, citing the aircraft's demonstrated value and its strong standing among ground forces. As a result, the Thunderbolt II has outlasted numerous official schedules for its phase-out. As strategic attention shifts toward potential conflict with near-peer rivals, the debate becomes more layered. In the opening stages of a high-end war, stealth platforms would likely be required to suppress air defenses before any conventional aircraft could operate safely. But once that suppression is achieved, aircraft built for persistence and precise firepower delivery could play a significant role. The question is whether an aircraft designed in the early 1970s still has a place in that later phase of operations. Discussions about a hypothetical A-11 successor surface periodically. A modern close air support aircraft incorporating stealth features, advanced sensors, and improved survivability sounds compelling in concept. In practice, the engineering trade-offs are severe. Stealth demands internal weapons carriage and smooth airframe surfaces, while effective ground attack favors external stores, rugged construction, and low-speed maneuverability. Budget constraints compound the challenge. Developing a new single-role aircraft in an era where next-generation fighters and bombers are consuming enormous resources is a hard case to make. Alternative proposals have included unmanned systems and autonomous collaborative aircraft. Long-endurance drones could, in theory, provide persistent surveillance and precision strike capability. But close air support demands rapid judgment, positive target identification, and tight coordination with troops under fire. Whether unmanned systems can shoulder that burden fully remains a genuinely open question. Others advocate leaning more heavily on the F-35, whose sensor fusion and network integration provide a quality of situational awareness that older aircraft cannot match. Critics note that expensive stealth platforms may not be well suited for extended low-altitude operations in environments that don't require their most advanced features. The most likely future is a layered approach: stealth and standoff weapons in the opening phases of a high-threat conflict, with more specialized ground attack platforms taking a greater role once defenses are degraded. The underlying requirement never goes away. Soldiers in contact need air support, and that support must be reliable, accurate, and timely. The A-10's endurance as a platform reflects the clarity of purpose embedded in its original design. Its creators made deliberate choices, accepting slower speed and limited multi-role capability in exchange for survivability, firepower, and the ability to work intimately with ground forces. That trade-off has paid dividends across more than 4 decades of combat operations. The aircraft has been shaped by the Cold War, tested in the desert, refined in the mountains, and updated for the digital age. Whether a successor ever emerges will depend on shifting strategic priorities and what technology ultimately makes possible. But the lesson the A-10 offers transcends its particular design. An aircraft built honestly around the genuine needs of the people it supports will outlast predictions, survive budget cycles, and earn a loyalty that no performance specification can fully capture. Back in that misty valley, as the Thunderbolt circles and the soldiers breathe easier, none of that institutional history matters. What matters is that the aircraft is there, and they know it.